Hello. Okay, so I'm just gonna get right into this video. I wanted to speak separately about dancing and then another kind of concept about being in the room. And I realized I think I was on a promenade or something, or I went on a walk and I was just sitting in a park, kind of mind mapping these ideas. And I was like, wait a minute, there's a common thread between the two. So I'm just gonna make one big video about materiality and about including the body in the practice of devotion, in the practice of desire. Um, and when it comes to living, living, what do I want to say? Living in truth. This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to go with it. Living in truth. I feel like sometimes when I'm watching videos online or hearing people speak or just receiving in general, where people are within the world, everything seems to be going into spirituality, into mental health, or something that is more intangible. And I feel that it's important, but I feel sometimes we forget that we actually live in a human body, a physical, tangible body on this earth, and that can be involved in our desires, in our spirituality, in our devotion, in our values. So this is what this video is about today. We are remembering the body. We are remembering the corporeal. Is it corporeal? Let's go with it. We're remembering the corporeal world, the corporal world, the physical body. And I'm going to speak about, well, I've got it to number 13, goddess number. I'm going to speak about the 13 ways that we can invite and include materiality, the body, in the manifestation process, but also in how we show up to life. So let's start. And this video could be wrong. It could be crap. I could be skipping over points, but I'm going to do it anyway. And if there is anything that I forget or don't speak more into, I'm happy to do another video. So number 1, allowing the physical body to be a part of the manifestation process. And this is something I've just touched on. I genuinely feel, and I feel like I'm sensing it, that it is important that we have, okay, what are we thinking? What are our emotions saying? What are our subconscious and spiritual selves guiding us towards? What is in most integrity to what our soul wants to do in this life? And I feel like even if you look at that framework, the subconscious, the emotional body, the mental body, and then the physical action that marries all of that together, I feel like let's put some emphasis on that physical action. It is the body that moves. It is the body that creates the business. It is the body that goes into that class and sits down and learns and studies. There is a physical element to things that we may think is distant from us in life, that we may want to aspire to be. And yeah, that's number 1, allowing the body, allowing your own hands, your own movement to be that permission slip, that force that is acting in alignment with the values that we have. Anyway, I'm excited, but let's go on to number 2 because we touched on that one a little bit too much. Number 2, having a neutral or positive relationship with the body, having a value system beyond the aesthetic of the body. And I've highlighted skills, sports, dance. Dance I'll touch on after. But when I'm talking about having a healthy, neutral, positive relationship with the body, this comes from thoughts that I had when I was a child and observations I had when I was younger. I'm someone that's gone to an all-girls school. I think nursery was mixed for me. Primary school was a mixed school, boys and girls. Secondary school and my education after that tended to either be girls' school or fashion in general, tailoring, all of these kind of dressmaking practices. There is either just women or there's like women and men that are gay that have a little bit more femininity to them. So what I observed when I was younger was that I remember when I was going to school and I would hear it be a normal thing for women to say, oh, I don't like myself, or oh, I feel ugly, or no, I'm not pretty. And I literally remember it so potently in my mind. There was one girl beautiful, drop dead gorgeous. She's gorgeous to this day. And I remember she was like, oh no, I'm not good looking. And I thought, oh, this whole thing is a scam. This whole thing is a lie. Because I never was able to relate to, I don't want to say self-hatred, but like having that be a casual thing that is in our language and in what we say. I remember being a young child and being like, oh, I feel fabulous. I feel good. Like, I might not have the best this feature, that feature, but I like it. I was like, oh, I feel like a model. Even my gap tooth, I remember I would have like maybe insults. This is not a deep thing, but casually you go to a school, you have people having insults, and I would never think for a second that it was something to be ugly, ashamed of, to agree and be in accordance with that sentiment and be like, oh my god, yeah, I've got a gap tooth. I could give a rat's. And for a long time it was confusing for me because I was thinking, why are we supposed to believe that we're ugly? Why are we supposed to believe as women or as young girls that it's more normal for us to not like how we look? It really baffled me. It baffles me to this day. And where I'm going with this understanding of having a neutral relationship with the body and having a positive, if it can even be achieved, relationship with the body is coming from me understanding my own patterns and how I'm showing up with life. I remember I always used to see my body and my physical being linked to gymnastics or being linked to cheerleading or being something that, okay, I've got to listen to my body, and if I stretch in this way, I'll be more flexible here. Or if I just control how I hold a certain position, I can hold that, like with cheerleading, you have your leg up at 1 minute. I can control that by understanding my body and understanding that there's a language there. And I feel like if you tap into that energy of seeing the body beyond an aesthetic, seeing our own bodies as something that can be cared for, built, nourished, that can actually have a skill attached to it instead of just being like, you're here to look good. If you don't look good in society's image, then there is no worth, there is no value there. I'm making that number 2, seeing the body in a neutral state and seeing the opportunities within our own relationship to grow that, whether it be through something like sports. Maybe you're a magnificent runner. Maybe that's where the confidence that you get to build within your body comes from. Maybe you can bake. We're forgetting that it's the hands that are mixing, moving, that have that muscle strength to make a delicious cake. One of my friends is a magnificent baker. The level of physical patience that you have to do to make something, to put the little details on, this is all the body. And I feel like maybe there's a link there where we can marry the love that we have for sports, the commitment that we have for sports, the commitment that we have for cooking, sewing, crocheting, reading. Your hands are the thing that are open in the book. And maybe that can begin to play into, okay, maybe I don't like this thing about myself, but I'm a good cook and my hands are very precise and my legs can run fast. Like, I think there's a pipeline there that may help people out there that don't have a good relationship with their body and never have. Neutralize your relationship with your body through skill, through building a skill set, through nourishing the body, and through having that care towards the body. Hopefully I've said this right, but I'm mostly trying to get at how I felt when I was younger and how I feel to this day when I stretch or when I say, oh, my shoulder's feeling a little bit tight. Let me ease my body into this position more. That slowness, that understanding that the body is alive and it hears what we say. And yeah, I'm just going to leave that as number 2, and hopefully something in there was good. But number 3, enjoying dance and movement. Originally, I had put this with the point above, but I've just had such a magnificent experience in this last, is it a year and 2 months, through dance. I had completely forgotten that I was someone that most enjoyed creativity, sewing, painting, art classes, textile classes. But another love of mine was the gymnastics, was the cheerleading, was the dancing, was the movement. I've been like that since I was younger. So last year, I had a period of time where I wasn't working. I was looking for my next position. And in the meantime, I was like, oh, I think I had been in my room and seeing and hearing like Spanish music mixes, Latin American music mixes, Dominican music mixes, and seeing online also, oh, there's this dance class. And I had completely had to warm myself up to the idea. And maybe I'll address that in another video, the dancing video that will inevitably come. But what I've been able to see from myself from last year till now is that there's almost been a new essence of life that has come out from studying salsa, through learning it, through building that muscle memory that I already had established when I was younger. And now, obviously, the place that I dance salsa has shut, and both of its branches have shut in London. But in the summer, I think it was after August, I'd switched to belly dancing from having an experience at my sister's Hindu. I had basically gotten contact with the teacher and started belly dancing again. And I just went this Monday. And gosh, I just feel like there's something to be said. We're moving creatures. We're human beings. We have a capacity to cross mountains. We have a capacity to dance. We have a capacity to run at magnificent speeds. We come from hunter-gatherers. We come from farmers that are engaged within farming practices, agriculture, soil. There's a level and there's a high capacity of movement that we have as human beings. To live a life where you're just stationary, you don't move, you don't dance, I think it's a cap on life. I sense that we are given as much energy as we use. And one thing I'll say with dancing, from my own self, from my own experience, I have called so much more energy to me just from the need of having to keep up with some of these moves. My dance teacher would be telling me, put the hip into the sky and roll it back. I said, ooh, I don't know I could do that. But there's probably more I can say about dancing, but I'll say that's number 3. Incorporating a movement practice. Swimming, dancing, bachata, salsa, line dance. I don't know what it is, but having that relationship where we're not forgetting our bodies when it comes to the end of the month, the end of the week. Oh, the body only comes up when it's some sort of aesthetic training. I got to get my summer body, as if the winter body doesn't exist too. I feel like there's something to be said about moving, and that's why it's number 3. Number 4, and not me rushing because I know I need to get back to work. That's the real gag. But number 4, using healthy practices as a form of congratulation and celebration. Not the ambiguous title. Where I'm going with this, sleep, using your own energy without stimulants, and fuel, life-giving foods. So I'll go to sleep. I hear this in conversation all the time. And that's the amazing thing about speaking and interacting with people, our friends, our family. You begin to hear what's being normalized and what's not in alignment for your own routine. I'm someone that I'm in that bed and I'm asleep. Look at me now. I'm lit up, I'm talking, I'm energized. This energy and replenishment gotta come from somewhere. And it comes from being in that goddamn bed and sleeping. And I feel that in a culture, maybe we're growing out of it, where we're so addicted or almost in a state of celebration when it comes to neglect. Oh, I completely ignored my routine and I had to do this work thing and I had to do this and I went here and I did shopping and I've worked so hard I couldn't even sleep. Like, that's a normal thing that I hear when I go to work. Or, oh yeah, I went to sleep at like 12 a.m. What? This body that has been beating, the heart has been beating nonstop. The legs have been moving to get on the train, to get on the tube, to then get on the plane, to enjoy this trip. The trip is even exhausting at this point. Something's got to give. And I'm using this opportunity to speak about congratulations and congratulations and celebration when it comes to health, through sleeping, through not getting so used to saying, oh, I need an energy drink. What the hell? Or, oh, I need a coffee. Girl, some people are glued to that coffee machine. I feel like this is a way of saying I've put my body on mute. My body is tired. I've ignored it. I fueled it with energy because it needs to get up and it needs to work. How does that progress? How does that look like when we're 80 years old, still using these goddamn stimulants, this caffeine? I'm pretty sure they used to give caffeine to factory workers so they could get back to work. That's what I'm saying. Is it possible that we can have a relationship with our body where we actually sleep on time? My sister she cracks me up. I think I spent Christmas or a couple days over Christmas with my sister, and I don't know if it's just me, but I woke up like ready to go, smiling. She was like, tone it down a bit, and I was thinking, I've got energy. And it's because I have that routine of sleeping and knowing that just as much as I put out, I must put back into my body. If that comes through replenishing through sleep, replenishing through, if I'm tired, saying it's okay and not having to add a stimulant, and most importantly, eating food that actually gives you energy. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure food being the energy system is something that is fueling us within the day-to-day. It's not coming through that sleep. What you eat, that is what you're going to be using the next day for that energy. So if my food isn't digesting in my stomach, I'm not eating it anymore. Yesterday I just had, this is completely off point, I just had a sorbet and bubblegum ice cream. I don't see that as food. I ate that because simply it was giving craving, it was giving she's going into menses, but we'll scratch that. But when it comes to life-giving food, the spinach, if you're someone that is vegan, vegetarian, get the actual protein, the lentils, the beans. If you're a meat eater, get that grass-fed. Maybe it's not grass-fed, maybe you can't access that, but get the foods that your body can digest, that your body can convert to energy and not convert into spots, and not convert into an angry mood, and not convert into sludge. Health through sleep, celebration through living without stimulants, and love and celebration and congratulations through life-giving foods. That's number 4, baby. Number 5, placing yourself within environments that align with your values. And I paired this one, these were originally separate, with being in the room. Living in the ecosystem of your interest, kind of similar. Why this comes up for me in this conversation of materiality is I've had so many experiences in this last, I would say 3 years, but most potently even in this past week, where I've really understood the power of actually physically being in the room of your interests. I've had the pleasure of attending Nana Dakawa and Seema Anand's talk. It was about sex, rights, and pleasure. RITES. Those rights. And I left the talk, I was with my friend, and I literally was charged up. I couldn't explain it. And I was trying to communicate this. I was like, I feel like I've been given too much. Like I've been given so much, my body is having to give it out. I was like, oh, that's abundance. When you're in the room of things that you value, and I'll go on to it when it comes to community in the next couple of points, but if you like Bridgerton, for example, don't just allow that relationship to exist on a laptop screen. Go and see the castles in your environment. I live in England. You know damn well they've stolen everything, so they'll have some castles to give. Go to the castles. Go to Versailles. If you like, what could it be? Cooking. Don't just allow that to be, oh, I've seen a recipe online. I've seen a recipe on TikTok. I'll just cook in my house. Could it be that you could go to a cooking class? I'll be going to Portugal next month. I'm going to that pasta donata baking class. I was in Morocco last year. I don't travel much. That's about to change. But I remember I was with my sister and my aunt, and we went to a tagine cooking class. The hotel itself had magnificent tagine, lamb tagine and dates, or like prunes or something. This one. And we had scheduled a cooking class. Being in the room, placing yourself in alignment with your values on a corporeal, I really need to learn how to say this word, corporeal, on a material level. I value fun. How does fun manifest for me? Promenading. Oh my God, being around animals, that's another thing. Oh my God. If I said stretching, dance was one of my loves, sewing, creativity, arts was one of my love, animals has to be up there in the big three. My spidey senses must have kicked in because I went to check the phone and my battery had died. This is what I was saying. Being in the room, living in the ecosystem of your values. This is what I was saying. I had gone to Richmond Park with my friend last week and gotten a real chance to, it had linked to a concept basically that I was thinking about creating, and it had something to do with deers. And I was like, deers, Richmond, let's go. Being in that environment, getting to see the deers, actually getting to experience a little bit of fear of like, these are real animals, like, that type of thing. There's a level of unpredictability when you're in the room and a level of response that only your physical body can pick up on. If you're worried or you're seeing an animal that has its own life, has its own autonomy, has its own energy, you will act right. But there's so much that comes with that through inspiration, through new ways of responding to life that unlocks, through interaction. That this is probably what authors pulled from when they're writing their novels, great works of art. These type of things only come from that hand-to-hand experience. But because that was the point that got cut off, I'll leave it there because I do not know how long I went on for. So, and if you can hear something in the back, someone's cleaning the house, so it's a little bit. But anyway, number 6, community and the collective body. Attending the events of the speakers, the thinkers, the authors, the producers, I think that says, the comedians and the panels that we like. Why have I put this as number 6 in materiality? It's again that same thing. We get so used to watching people that we like on screen, or say you're a fan of Pride and Prejudice, you watch the film, or you like, who do I love? Patricia Bright. She's talking about, I don't know, something to do with accounting and taking care of your money and being a leader as a woman. These things can exist in real life too. There are panels where they might have the directors of Pride and Prejudice come. I know someone that I work with was talking about how they went to the Prince Charles Theatre, I think it's called, Prince Charles Cinema in Chinatown, and he loves The Wizard of Oz, and I think it's Returning to Oz that he went to go watch a couple of weeks ago. The director was there. He's like 80 something years old, and they got to ask questions and be in a Q&A. But I say this because that part, we are, and I'm not sure if this is the same with men, but at least as women, as human beings, we're like this in general, but we're mimetic creatures. We kind of sync up to the energy around us. And that's why there is that term, birds of a feather flock together, or you are the sum of the people that you are around, the sum of the 5 people that you're around, you become. When you're in the room, if you actually value someone as, I have this for me, I have people that I feel are muses in my life, like they're blessings from God that have come down into a body and are a source of guidance for me. If there are people that you're inspired by, maybe you come across a book, I've got my bookshelf up here, so many authors that have just given such amazing revelations to me when it comes to my own knowing. Maybe they've studied something that you're interested in. If it is within access, be in the room and enjoy the community and the collective body of your values, of your interest. It's mirroring in and speaking to the previous point, but go to the podcasts that happen in real life when they do their little like tours around the world. Go to I know Waterstones, Foils, there's another bookshop that I can't remember. There's actual in-person readings or in-person presentations when it comes to books. I went to Zainab Badwadi's talk in, I think it was King's Place. Oh my gosh. I was literally leaving there like, I would love to be a humanitarian. I would love to be more philanthropic. I would love to be more within my research. The talk that I went with Sima and Nana Dakawa. Oh my gosh, I would love, like, you get to hear a person's voice, you get to interact with people. There were so many people around me in the talk that I just went to last week where I had met a psychotherapist, and she was there because she'd been doing work within Ghana, trying to actively build a community there that is more comfortable with psychotherapy, that is more comfortable with speaking about emotions and communicating the mental and emotional world, and that in relation to sexuality and not gender, but love and sexuality and that fluidity that exists there. I'd only met her because I'd gone to the talk in person, and the woman next to her, she was I can't remember what she did for work, but she loved to sing. These kind of things only come from that physical experience. And I'm still paranoid, so I'm just going to quickly check if it's recording. Okay, it is. Cool. And that's why I've put on the list. Community exists, a collective body exists, and it's important. And these are things that we can access even for free. I know in some countries you might have to pay for these experiences, but there's farmer markets that are for free. There's museums that you can say, oh, what do you like about the art that you're looking at? That part. What's the next one? Number 7, activate the 5 senses in real life. Multi-sensory experiences. And what I've put as a little explan is, what did I taste? What did I touch? What did I hear? What did I see? What did I feel? What did I smell? I've added this in as, I don't know, maybe a form of gratitude to the physical body. Perhaps the mind can describe, and you can create some sort of logic behind what you smelled, and this goes into writing and another creative practice. But there's a beauty in sensory experiences. I remember a couple summers back, I had gone to Kew Gardens, and they have like multiple greenhouses, large greenhouses with all different plant species around the world. When I got the chance, I was touching everything. Some give off scent. I've had experience where I'll go perfume shopping. I know Morocco ate this up. That trip ate this up 100%. All of the different versions of argan, all of the different mixes in lavender, in maybe a cactus one, it smells quite plain and bland. But really engage with the 5 senses. You like a particular cuisine. Like I said, I was in a mood where I was doing salsa and learning this type of dance. Go and taste the food. Go and eat a taco, enchilada. Oh my gosh, it was Dia de los Muertos just in November. And I have a book club that my sister has created. And we went to Mestizo on King's Road and tried mole for the first time. I have never tasted dark chocolate be cooked in a savory meal. These are the things that the mind remembers that exist within our subconscious soul level inspiration that we can only engage with through the hands, through the eyes, through what you hear, the music that we listen to. Is it life-giving? Girl, I won't stay too long on this because I think it can exist within its own video. Maybe all of them can, but that's number 5. Allow life to be somewhere where you've heard beautiful things, you've experienced new scents. You can end the year or you can end the month saying, what did I smell that was amazing? What have I seen that was remarkable, that made an impression on me? What food have I tasted? Have I tasted anything in particular that sparked some sort of interest, sparked some sort of response out of me? That. Oh, not us turning to the next page. We're getting to the end. Number 8, play with conversation and overcome the need to control social interactions. And this really comes from a place where my heart really goes out to people that struggle with social interactions. I've had family members say, oh, I've got social anxiety, or I can physically see them in real life be like, oh, uncomfortable with conversation. I, even within myself, not me saying, oh, let me tell you, the guitar I'm fired up. Within myself, have moments where I'll be like, oh, I don't know if I should speak to this person, or oh. And when I'm tapping into that feeling, I think the anxiety when it comes to socializing, um, when it comes to having a conversation, comes from a level of discomfort to unpredictability and to not having control. I love conversation. I love speaking to new people. I say it all the time. There's not an environment that I have been in where I don't come out with a friend, even if it's just one. And I'm not the most, well, I'm out there. One of my friends, she'll be in a room and she'll be like, oh no, I need to go say hello to this person. She's never met them. I love that. But why I say play with conversation is because it's its own living organism. Having a conversation, a system of reciprocity with someone, a back and forth. You don't need to predict, okay, they might say that they might say that I might have to have a quick response to this, or oh, okay, what if they ask me about this and I'm not comfortable? Allow that patience to be established through the practice of having conversations, through maybe you go to a class, or maybe you're in school, or maybe you're in uni, and you just say to someone, how did you understand that point? I'm a bit confused. Maybe they'll even tell you, go and ask the teacher. Or maybe who knows, maybe you've gone to that Pasta Donata cooking class and you've missed a point. Or maybe you haven't missed a point, maybe you're playing and you say, oh, can you remind me, was it this amount or this amount? It's about giving yourself enough room to gain that familiarity of talking. One of my dear friends, family members, we gave her a risk to do for this year. It was a conversation that I had with my dad. That's it, another video within itself. But it had turned into us three speaking and being like, oh, what would you say a risk for me is? Or what would you say could be the biggest risk that I could do within this next era in my life or next stage? And one that we gave was the risk of actually having a feminine sorority. Not even feminine, just put sorority in there. Sometimes we can have this isolationist way of living where we're like, oh, it's just me and mine, oh, it's just me and my kids, or oh, it's just me, no new friends. Banish that from the pits of hell in which it came. But that mentality of being like, okay, no, I've already got enough, I don't need any more, that's fine. But someone out there needs a friend. And we may have friends that we haven't yet met or come into contact with. And having that play and that relaxation and that understanding that conversations are fun, they get to be fun, you get to practice them being fun, is a part of the beauty of life. And that's why I've put it as number 8. Okay, number 9. Oh, I might have to stop. I'm back. The vacuuming has stopped. We finished with playing with conversation. And number 9, activating a tactile relationship within yourself, or just in general with yourself. Caring for your hair, nail painting, bathing, creaming the skin, stretching, learning the body. And I put spa there too. Now, all of the examples I've stated are not fixed. This is just what I've placed to remind me of the original essence of the point. Having a tactile relationship with yourself. This is coming from a thought, a feeling, a sense that I've got or received. I am a woman, and when I've been around women, I can just tell. I can just feel it. Sometimes it feels, as women, as people also, we're having this relationship with ourselves that is like something that you don't like ee. Like it's normal to be like, let's say nail painting. Luxury maintenance, having a maintenance budget, having a self-care budget. Why is it that some of the most reconnecting experiences that we can have within ourselves, like painting your nails, like filing your foot, like creaming your skin in the morning, I'm from Ghana. I'm Black British, right? We grow up creaming our skin. We don't leave the house without that skin being creamed. I remember when I was it had to be in primary school or something. I thought, oh, I'll try out not creaming my skin and see what happens. It's so long, there's so much time in it. You know damn well that skin began to crack. I had like a crack in my skin that didn't go. I'm pretty sure I've got the scar. But little side note, but I genuinely feel, why do we have this, or why is it normal to have a relationship where you don't even know, or you're not even willing to address some of the needs of your body? Like, say we're women, we have a menstrual cycle. I feel like sometimes in life it's become normal that you don't even recognize the response from your body when it doesn't like something, when it does like something, when that food agrees with you, when it doesn't agree with you, until you're in menses and your body says, nah, I'm literally approaching my menstrual cycle in the moment. Today is the first day, and we're about to really figure out that. But I'm going on a side note, but what's the essence of what I want to say? There are things that we can do to regain a connection and regain a relationship with our body. And we are people that have been, and when you're growing up as a child, you kind of get these behaviors from your parents. Oh, I'm feeling sad. Your mom gives you a hug. Oh, or maybe they don't. Maybe there's like a muting, a numbing when it comes to a tactile relationship. Or I'm feeling sick, like I've got a cough in my chest. You almost need to move it out sometimes. Or you just hit yourself, or you've, I don't know, fallen. There's like an actual pain there. There's a relationship that you get to have with yourself that is nourishing and guiding your body. It goes back to the dance, it goes back to the having a neutral relationship with the body. But I think having a tactile relationship with your body is most important. We often ignore having a tactile relationship until we're in relationships, romantic relationships, until we're in physical relationships. Now, this is something that I've observed. I'm in conversations with a lot of women, or even with the people that I'm listening to online, will say, oh, I'm not even sure what I enjoy when it comes to romance, or I'm not even sure what my comfortability is when I'm dating someone, or when I'm connecting with someone on a potentially more, on a different state of man. I don't know why I'm getting a little bit not shy, but like antsy about it. But what I'm trying to say is, we don't want to leave it to the point where you're in a romantic relationship or you're in a physical relationship and you haven't established that tactile comfort that you get to have within yourself. I love gentleness. I'm not someone that is with myself. Maybe when I'm doing dancing, then the energy comes. But I love gentleness. I love when I'm not rushing through having a shower, when I'm having the shower and enjoying the water on my body. When we were, I say we because me and my friend went to that talk, we're in the talk with Nana Dakawa. She mentioned, I think it's within her book that I have up here. I can even get it. It's called Seeking Sexual Freedom, African Rights, Rituals, and Sankofa in the Bedroom. Sankofa is a Ghanaian. But this book, she has a story where she was someone that has been observing their family cream their bodies all their life. She's been watching aunties cream their skin and really get in there like it's a whole ritual at that point. She had made us do an exercise where we put our hand on our arm and relate to it, not in this hand touching the arm, but in the arm that is receiving that touch. And in that moment, you begin to feel the weight of your own body. In that moment, you begin to feel the presence of your own self. And sometimes we can skip over things when it comes to touching our own body. Okay, when it comes to nail painting, nail care routine, I'll go and pay for someone else to do it. I don't want to do it. But it's that relationship that you build when you're filing your own foot, when you're having to cut your own nails, when you're having to moisturize your own hair. For me, from May this year, I've been taking better care of my hair. I've always had natural hair. I've gone through periods of when I've had wigs and when I've had different hairstyles. But from secondary school, I would say, primary school too, but mostly secondary school in my later years. Sixth form was when I kind of changed. But I've had a relationship with my hair, and I didn't realize there was a tactile need more in my routine that I have now to really, oh, I've caught my hair. Oh well, should I leave it? There we go. To really moisturize my hair, really get in there with the cream. Like, this is a living thing. This is something that needs to be cared for retention, for making sure that the hair follicle itself is maintained and that cream, that moisturizer has penetrated. Those are the moments that also allow for a relationship to be received by your own self. How do you set the standard for that? Is it that you just ignore yourself, you ignore your skin, you put cream on anyhow, you don't even cream, nails cracking, body cracking, everything? What else have I got on this list? You don't know your own body. You don't even know what you like. You don't even know what pace of walking you enjoy. These are the things that build that unbreakable respect, unbreakable honor with familiarity, with materiality, with self-knowing. And that will allow for the communication of that when you do enter a relationship, maybe when you do enter a marriage, when you do enter a divine union, for that to be communicated. But if you don't, maybe you're not a relationship person, how you show up for yourself gets to be pleasurable. And that's why I put that point there. Who knows? Maybe I've skipped over a whole bunch of things I wanted to say, but there will always be more videos where I can speak about this. And also in this point, when it comes to tactile relationships with our own body, that can also be externalized. Going to hammam, going to a spa, going to some sort of, I don't know, supportive stretching class where someone else is stretching your body. When I had visited Morocco, I had an authentic Moroccan hammam experience that was remarkable. It's something that has informed me of how I actually like my body to be treated. And perfuming myself, the spa assistant scrubbing my body, like, it was rough at some points, but that care, that maternity, that nourishment can only be experienced through a tactile relationship. And of course there's a mental version of intimacy, knowing your mind, knowing your emotional behavior, knowing your patterns, but that's something that can also be nourished within the physical, within the reality, within the material plane. And that's why it's here. So girl, how many times am I gonna pause within this video? That's what I was just thinking. Number 10, neuroaesthetics and activating beauty in the materiality of life. Oh, I've put poetry, I've put live music, scenery, beauty of, what does that say? The beauty of the planet. Maybe I need to refresh my knowledge of what neuroaesthetics actually means, but I first heard it when I was listening to Dr. Tara Swart and her emphasis on walking, being within nature, seeing trees, how that aids neurological development, how that aids our, I can't remember, I'm forgetting the words, but how it reframes and restructures our mind, our body, our cells, having that interaction with nature, and that being something built in within human anthropology, within when we were hunter-gatherer societies, when we were first forming as hominids on this earth. And why I put such emphasis in it by creating a reality that is beautiful. We will naturally go through ebbs and flows when it comes to emotions. Sometimes we may be sad, sometimes we may be angry, frustrated, depressed, but it's important to understand that we have a sense of control on where we place our body. Same with being in the room, same with who we choose to hang around with. But there are things that maybe we uniquely will see and say, this is beautiful to me. Being in Richmond, I might even add the picture in if I can be asked, or it will be on my Instagram. I remember me and my friend were walking, we were exiting the park, we couldn't find the deer were at the exit that we would come to see in about 5 seconds. But when we were walking out, there was this long lane that kind of dipped down in the hill, and there was trees on either side that just looked beautiful. I took a picture of it. That aspect of life. There's music that I've heard recently that is remarkably structured. that is just, it can only be described as beautiful. There are conversations that I've had in this year, this week, this life that have been remarkable. Scents that I've smelled. I remember there was this perfume from Morocco. It doesn't have like a lavender, it's just called musk mixed with argan. First of all, that thing is damn near poisoning me because it was supposed to last longer, but I think it actually might be out of date. I dabbed it here. Everything was fine in the first like 6 months. Yeah, that had started to go off. And I still have it. And instead of dabbing it on my skin, I'll put it on like a material that doesn't touch the skin. Magnificent smell. Placing yourself within beauty is something that can be received, and therefore is something that can be given right back out. We are in reciprocity with what we see. I feel that this is why there's such an emphasis on don't be around bad apples, or don't get engaged with that negative habit. We will repeat that. We will be in reciprocity with that if we're covered and surrounded by things we don't like. My room can sometimes be messy, creative mess. Even, I was going to point this out, I didn't do it in the upper video, but I've put some faux Dupion, teal Dupion over my storage boxes because it didn't look beautiful to me. I was like, I know I sew and I know there's stuff back there, but we're around beauty all the time. Cover your world in things that are beautiful to you. And I feel in some way, not in like a rose tinted way, but if we have that familiarity with things that are beautiful to us, I decide that this is beautiful. I decide that I love this thing, me and the color orange, I love it. I want more orange, I want more teal around me. Then it's easier to identify the things that are not beautiful about the world and it be energized enough to act against it. I see people talking so negatively, whether it be about men and women and male and female relationships and male and female dynamics. And because I have such a positive and optimistic and joyous relationship with men that I'm inspired by and women that I'm inspired by, because I've established that beauty there that gets to exist there, when the polarity shows up, it's more evident to me. So I feel that in some ways, there is a function of surrounding yourself by things that you deem beautiful. And part of that function is when you see the opposite, you speak up against it because it's just not that. Hopefully, I've described and communicated this well. And if I haven't, there'll be many opportunities to do so. But yeah, that experience, live music. Oh my God. I went to the Dabar Festival in November this last year. And I was hearing Hindustani and Karnik music live with live musical instruments, ragas, or I think it's called ragas, just people playing with their voice. Having that informs how you get to not negotiate, but interact with the world. Girl, I'm going to leave that point there before I go off on some sort of tangent. But number 11, and I might have 14, there might be a special guest. Devotion through adornment, allowing devotion through adornment. So I basically said it twice. And I've got in brackets, vestments, kente, and corporeal muting. Why I've put this here on remembering materiality, remembering that there's a real tangible component to life. And it's not only mental, it's not only emotional, but there's a realness to life that can be honored too, is we all work, we all go outside and have routines and have responsibilities. And sometimes there's this sentiment of you save your most beautiful clothes for that one event that you do a year, or only dress up when, it's really important. Weddings, celebrations, birthday, like that one dress you get for your birthday. Look how strained that exists in energy. Can I just check if it's recording? Look at the strain that exists within that. Okay, you should only dress well, or you should only dress your most celebratory, your most exciting when there's an event. Look how conditional that is. Why can it not be that we show up, and how we show up in our second skin? God has given us our first skin. Our second skin is clothing. Is it not a practice of devotion to prepare that second skin, to cherish that second skin, to wear that second skin in the highest vibration possible, in closest integrity to our values. I've been loving conversations since I was practically aware, since I was in secondary school, about clothing, about royalty, about, oh, in my country, in Ghana, we wear kente. It's large, it's heavy, it's multicolored. It exists beyond being a single hue. When I see India, one of the first exhibitions I went to, not even one of, sorry, the first exhibition I went to that really awakened my love of art, creativity, textiles. When I was studying textiles in secondary school, I went to the Fabric of India exhibition at the Victoria and Albert Museum. I was seeing garments from the Devdas promotional material. I was seeing Manish Arora's work, historical Indian garments from millennia. We have such a capacity, just like we have such a capacity for dance and movement. We have such a capacity as human beings of history and of future and of present for clothing, for color, for hue. There's a book called Chromophobia. It's the only book that I have on Audible before I said, yeah, I need to read. I like feeling the books. I like reading the books. And I will get the actual copy. Or maybe I'll just listen to the audiobook. But there's a book called Chromophobia that talks about the fear of hue, of pigment, the undertones of racism when it comes to hue and pigment within culture, within society, within how it's been communicated through history, through philosophy. And I think somewhere in there, not chromophobia, but within my own understanding and what I've received from that and what I sense from that, is that there's a real uncomfortability and hesitation when it comes to looking good for the self, looking good from a human divine perspective, from a divine perspective. And the way I feel I relate to clothing, that second skin, is that if life is a blessing, if we are on this earth and it is a gift, could it not be possible to show up for life like it's a gift? Like, you're never going to get us used to, and I say us collectively, for those that resonate with it, wearing loungewear. Okay, I'm wearing a little bit of jersey now, but wearing loungewear like it's an essence of life. Like, yes, loungewear, I'm empowered. No. Or wearing navy, black and grey because you exist within corporate society, so you must embody the features of the great masculine renunciation, a period of art that I love researching, but you must embody that with being, stiff and wearing those type of clothes, and you're respectable, so you take away all the color from your clothes. No, we come from history. We come from our past. We come from a people that dress without filtering or without refining the hue into something that can be limited and boxed down into one thing. Every day we wake up is a gift. Every day we enter the world is a gift, and our clothes get to reflect that. Remember I was talking about a multisensory experience? The chiming you hear from earrings, that's a multisensory experience. That's something that links us to not only the spiritual aspect, but to the material aspect of life. The fabric, how it feels on your body, it's multisensory. Material itself has an energy. This is something I want to research more, but why I place adornment and clothing as something that gets to be in honor of materiality and in honor of all of the other dimensions of existence is because it's something that I value deeply, but it's something that we are interacting with every day. Before you get into the friendship group, the bad apples, the good apples, before we get into the environments, the misaligned environments, the aligned environments, we exist within this body, and what you clothe it in and what you wrap it in and what you prepare your body in speaks to how you feel and speaks to how you show up in the world. So I am putting that as number 11. Adornment and devotion through adornment. Anyway, number 12. Materiality. Oh, what does that say? Materiality and movement reveals limitation and failure fast. I actually feel and sense that there's a fear of materiality, of reality, of living in a world, of being a body, of being an action, of being a doing as well. I think there's a fear because when you do something, say you have an idea, oh, I wish to paint. I have this inspiration of a painting or an image that I want to create and I wish to do it. The second it goes from a feeling of creativity and like, oh my God, expression, to a thought, oh, I would like to do it through painting. I would like to express this emotion through an action that I can do. When you get into the part of behavior and action, you find out fast if you can actually do it or if you can't. The mind has no boundary. It can go anywhere. It can show you the painting completely finished. It can show you this is what the business looks like when it's done. It can show you this is my understanding of a relationship and it's fabulous and this is how it gets to exist. When you act that out, when you embody something and you show up for it within action, there can be a sense of fear in that because you will find out very quickly if something works or if it doesn't. But that's when the beauty of trial and error, of really refining and procuring and finessing that understanding of cause and effect, of supply and demand, can be achieved. But it takes a bit of confidence and it takes a bit of commitment and effort. And I do feel like there is more room to acknowledge that there is faith in movement, there is faith in materiality, and there is boundlessness and space and expression to move and to act and to do these things. I won't say too much on this point, but it was really that as I was walking out of the park when I was writing these down, that and a second one that I'm about to mention came into my head. So I was like, let me add it in. But number 13, in remembering the materiality, remembering the tangible and the real aspect of life, is ownership, responsibility, and commitment. And that is truly the last point that came into my head when I was walking home. And I quickly wrote it down as I was walking. But I do sense that there may be a fear, definitely within the culture and the way we exist today, when it comes to ownership. And when you own a real thing like this cup, an actual Chicago, an actual cup, when you own a notepad, in some ways you are inconvenienced because it has to come with you. You can throw it away and discard it and be, oh, I don't care about this and I don't care about that. I just own and then I dispose. We know that's out of integrity if we tap into that feeling. But when you own something, you're almost saying that I commit to having you for this moment, whether it be the moment or whether it be a lifetime. I feel like when I observe our relationship in society when it comes to clothing, when it comes to products, when it comes to, oh, it's Christmas, so we bought all this decoration, but oh no, we've overbought, so we've just thrown it in the garbage. Oh, it's Halloween, so we must buy these decorations. Oh, we don't want to own this anymore because it takes up too much space in the house, so we're going to throw it away. Oh, I feel like I'm in a cowgirl aesthetic, so I'm going to buy all this cowgirl material. Oh, but now I've changed to being clean girl aesthetic, so I'm going to throw it all away. There's a lack of identity in this way of being. And there's a lack of authenticity that gets to grow for having a long-standing relationship and a commitment to the things we choose to have in this life. There's been multiple times where I've acquired something and I'm like, this ain't me, child. I don't know why I bought all of this. At the same time, there is a beauty in owning something, in saying, oh, I'm not going to get the Audible. I'm not going to get the digital thing that I can't actually be responsible for. I'm going to get the real thing. And whether I like or dislike the material of this thing, I own it. I don't know where I'm going with this point, but I put it in there because I feel that when it comes to compounding, growing, building, progressing, if you discard all that you've acquired and start from scratch again, there is actually no movement at all. Not there's actually no movement to be had. There's no progress, there's no compounding, there's no history that exists. And I feel that we live in a world where Maybe we're being told to not have a history. Just live in the present. We'll make it convenient for you. You don't have to put the effort into cooking. Excuse me. Oh, don't worry about uni and actually building the skill and having to pay all of this money and then actually having to use the skill that you've paid all this money for. Don't worry about that degree. You can just work. There's something lost when it comes to not owning something. When it comes to something that can't be taken away from you. Even how you look at home ownership now, people don't own their houses. Some, me. People don't own the land that they're living on. When you own something, there's a level of, even if it's just yourself, you own the right to your own life. It can't be taken away from you. It can't. If you die, you still own it. You still own it. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that last point, but I'll say it anyway. And if anything comes up for me for it, I'll speak to it. I was going to give a bonus one, and it was something that I had written originally as point number 2, and I had moved it because I thought, I don't want to take the energy down. It's not really a downer, but I would say in that process of having an emotional feeling, having a mental communication of that feeling, having a physical action orientated response and behavior to that thought, in the process of mental health, mental wealth, mental understanding, have a physical diary, have a physical journal, and if not the two, have words to say outside of your mouth to yourself that are allowing you to understand, learn, process what we experience emotionally and mentally. I have had such a blessing through owning all my diaries. They're all up there stacked. One's down here. I'm not even going to bother getting that out. And I can say that, yes, there are things that can be resolved in the mind. Yes, there are things that can be eased in the thought and over processing. But sometimes when I hear things like, oh, I overthought this point, or I get lost in overthinking, it's because there's nothing that is coming out of that. It's stagnant energy. Emotion, thought. It's just thoughts wrapping around and not coming to a conclusion. When you direct that thought, at least this is what happens to me in a diary, into alignment with your ultimate values, your core values. When you say, I experienced this and I didn't like this part, I found out that I like this element of that, and you give it a direction. When you confirm and say, I've decided to choose this from this experience, I've decided that it gets to be this for me, or I get to exist now like this, or I'm choosing to enter the world in this way. There's a direction where it feels fulfilled and it feels fully processed, and it feels that the mental world has seen the light of day and gotten to its next stage of life through action or through embodiment. I'll just add that in as a bonus. The materiality, the reality of diary entries, of writing, of processing some of the subconscious aspects of life in a physical process, system, format is healthy and gets to see the light of day. And who knows, perhaps that was a little bit of a disjointed way of ending the video, but these are aspects that I've been thinking about recently, and I hope that through speaking them, these 13 and the bonus, ways of reconnecting to materiality and the material realm of life, not neglecting the other two, all three, but adding that into the conversation of things like manifestation, things of belief, faith, religion. Each has a physical way of representing itself, and I feel that there's multiple ways that we can nourish this, not only in action, but in how we interact, feel, and show up for our bodies. So, girl, I hope this is going to be a long one, but I hope that this has given what needed to be given. And yeah, so I'm going to enjoy the rest of this day, get back to work, and yeah, have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.